Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Final Stallions!
Today we have a fantastic guest for you all. We have Mr. Noah Nelson.
Whoop, whoop. I feel like I needed an air horn when you did the Final Stallions thing.
we could insert that in.
Yeah,
Casino,
nice.
When you're going over this, air horn.
There's definitely a nay at the beginning, baby.
There we go. I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I met Noah, I think it was back in January.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were playing a show with another former Vinyl Stallions guest, Abstract Sounds. And so, yeah, after the show, we were just topping it up, or not topping it up, chopping it
off.
Yeah.
Little Salt Bay.
Right, there we go.
Just, shooting the shit, and here we are.
Yeah, and Abstract Sounds, by the way, are just super cool. That was my first time running into those guys, and it was like a mind-blowing kind of sonic experience. I think you said you kind of had the same thing when you first met them, and I know, I'm forgetting his name, the band leader for them.
Oh, Javon Bogard,
Okay.
JB.
Yeah, JB. He was really cool, and I know he plays with, some varying musicians from time to time, but they were just all really cool guys. It's not every time you play on a bill with a band and they'll just sit and talk music with you for hours before each of us play, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because how we met him, we run a charity concert, and the first year we did it, one of the bands that was playing was called Colin Miller and the Brother Nature, and so he was playing sax for Colin Miller and the Brother Nature, and sort of how we were chopping it up after the show, we were chopping it up with JB, and then he was like, yeah, I have my own project. He showed me a clip. I'm like, what the fuck? This sounds like Chick Corea 70s fusion jazz. And so then, we had them play at the second year of that concert, and yeah, they're crazy good.
Yeah, they're a serious band. It's very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's cool meeting people who are into music that's just inherently kind of deep or heavy. And he was very much one of those guys. I could tell right away, even before hearing him play, I was like, well, this is going to be something a little different than who we normally play with. And
instrumental.
Yeah. And I mean, I love a lot of that music. On some of the albums I've kind of put out myself, I'll do a lot of instrumental pieces and try to pull on some of the jazz fusion thing. And, and then with Keep It Casual, we've been pretty lucky to play with a ton of different cool bands that are typically pretty different, each gig to another. And I don't know, it's just it's cool to absorb some of the influence or just general vibe of these different bands when you see them. So after seeing Abstract Sounds, I was like, man, we've got a saxophone player in Keep It Casual, Tyler. I was like, we need to write some cool jazz fusion stuff for him to be able to blow over it this, and hopefully we'll get around to doing that amongst all the other stuff we're working on.
Yes. Okay, so you just mentioned your band Keep It Casual. Why don't you tell us how that started up and how you found yourself playing with those dudes?
Well, they had that band going for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years before myself and my drummer CJ joined up with those guys. And I think it's been about 1.5 years or so now. It's kind of a cool story. People like hearing it because it was one of those I don't know, almost twists of fate kind of situations where everything kind of lined up like Lego pieces in a way. So it started, we were actually both playing a fundraiser show for Poe Road, or some sort of season opener, and it was at the Switchboard. And I was just doing an acoustic set. At the time, I was kind of because I have a trio as well, under the artist name I MUA, and have done that project for probably 8 or 9 years now. But it's always been kind of on and off again. And at that time specifically, me and CJ, my drummer that I had mentioned, we were like pretty locked in together, but we were going through bass players like left and right, and so
Tough.
yeah, it was starting to wear on me. I
Mhm.
mean, like we had a lot of great musicians in that trio and in different versions of that band, but it kind of just kept coming and going, and it felt like I was like restarting just constantly. So anyway, flash forward back to that show at the Switchboard. I'm playing acoustic. My own band's kind of like going up and down, and yeah, Keep It Casual played as like a smaller setup because it was more of an acoustic vibe at that show. And I got to meeting the guys, and I was like, oh, these are pretty cool dudes, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh, we'll be friends, and they've got their own band, so that probably won't happen. But I definitely enjoyed meeting them. And after that, I was putting together a Grateful Dead tribute at Howard's, and it was going to be on New Year's.
Right on.
And I mean, I love the Dead,
Mhm.
and I've always played a ton of their music, but this is the first time I do like 2 long sets of all Dead music. So I really wanted to do it right. And so I kind of just put the call out there. I was like, whoever wants to do this, just hit me up and let's see what we can work out.
Mhm.
And I would get people, and they would say, "Yeah, maybe I'll do it, maybe I'll do it." And I had the show booked, So,
So
like,
you're under the gun.
yeah, I'm really under the gun. And as it's getting closer, Dan, our other guitar player and singer in Keep It Casual, he reaches out and he says, "Hey, how about like we just fill out the rest of the spots in the band and just do this with you?" And I said, "That sounds really great,
Yeah.
So we
Problem
get
solved.
together, and I give them a huge list of Grateful Dead songs. And those tunes are not easy. Like, people have this misconception about the Dead that it's just like noodling around, but it's like these songs take like these deep journeys, and there's a lot of complicated arrangements.
Yeah.
And also, excuse me, I always like to elaborate on things really deeply, so I will do
That's
this.
what
I
we're
will,
here for.
This is the place to do it.
Nice. Well, I'll just keep going then, unapologetically. But yeah, so they fill out the band. We do an amazing show, and I promoted it really well. So we got a ton of people out, like packed Howard's. It was the best show I've done there for sure.
Heck yeah.
And we all just had a great time. Steve, the guy who he owned Howard's for a while and still managed all their music and bands, he was playing keyboard with us.
Mhm.
And he's also like lifelong Deadhead like me. So
Right on.
yeah. So we do the show. It's awesome. And shortly after, they had some sort of like disagreement with their bass player and drummer at the time, and they decided they were going to go their own way, which that happens.
Yeah.
But it happened to be pretty close to a show they had at the Village Idiot. And so what ended up happening was Dan reaches out to me, and he's like, "Hey, our bass player and drummer are like not going to be playing with us, and we could really use your help, kind of like how we helped you,
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So kind of same deal, short amount of time. Me and CJ got the songs. Didn't have a lot of prep time. I don't think we rehearsed once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we showed up, played like a 3 or 4 hour night with these guys. They moved Ross. He's our bass player, but he was playing guitar before I came in, so he moved to bass, and it kind of just stuck. Like,
That dude is
yeah.
a beast on
oh,
bass,
he's
too.
insane. Well, the thing that's annoying about Ross in the best way is that he's like better than everyone in the band at every instrument. He's like
But
he
he
was
has to play one.
exactly, yeah. He can't do it all. Listen. So yeah, but I love that story, and it's always fun to tell it because it really did feel like it was like a perfect moment for everyone involved, where they needed a few musicians to fill out what they were doing. CJ and I were struggling to keep what we were doing together, and it just kind of ended up being like a really good fit, and it has been since. So
Yeah. CJ's a beast behind the kit too. Like,
Yeah.
when I saw you guys play back in January, I was like super impressed. Just everyone was like really good, and you guys were locked in.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I mean, yeah, when I met CJ, I realized I was like, okay, this guy's really, really good and a super, like, just nice and good friend, like, right off the bat. And I knew, I was like, okay, me and this guy are going to stick together. Like, I'm going to find work for us to do so somebody else doesn't find work for I was like, yeah, this guy's my drummer. So, I mean, and I'm his guitar player. Like, we stick together, and him and I have done, like, some other cool stuff together. He still plays with Nate Hicks. I don't know if you know him.
The name rings a bell, but I wouldn't be able to like tell you exactly what he
Okay.
does.
Yeah. No, Nate's a super sweet guy too. and he's like an R&B singer in Toledo. And so yeah, CJ still plays with Nate, and I played with Nate for a minute there. That's actually how I met CJ. I was playing bass for him at first.
Okay.
Or no, guitar first, then bass. It's hard to remember, but So yeah, him and I have done quite a few cool things together. We recorded a live album that never got released for this artist called Hydra. Yeah, that was a funny one.
Hydra.
What's the story there? Why didn't it get released?
Well, I don't want to talk shit or something, but it was a really funny situation. I mean, she'll probably never see this. It doesn't matter. And she was cool, but it was one of those situations where it just didn't work out. Like it was like there was like a bump in the road every turn of the way. She came from Los Angeles to Toledo to record with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I think Nate worked that deal out because he's really like a smooth talker, and he can, he's very good at putting people together and kind of making things happen. So, so we ended up being her backing band, and it was a fun experience, and I don't even know why. It just never got put out. And she had to spend a lot of money on it, It couldn't have been cheap. She paid a bunch of musicians. We rented out like a cool room to do it in.
So it wasn't like a recording of a live show. It was like a live recording in a studio environment.
Yeah, but it was somewhat structured like a live show. Okay. We did do multiple takes of some of the songs. And it was kind of a full day. Like, honestly, I remember we were there, I don't know, we ate lunch and dinner there,
Yeah.
So, it was like a long haul type of situation. And, I don't know, I've been in a lot of those things where it's like the promise of it is a lot better than what materializes. And it was nobody's fault, that I can point to. Because, after I started to pick up on the fact that, maybe this would never get released, I kind of just ducked out. I was like, I was like, if Nate's going to figure this out, he's going to figure it out for us. And, I think he really did his best. I mean, he would give us updates like, maybe this is going to happen, or maybe she'll give us the rights to just put these out as instrumentals. Because, they were good performances. And we totally rearranged all these, songs she had done with just, because it was, R&B, hip-hop kind of vibe. So, what we were sent was just beats and stuff, and we rearranged them for a live band, and really pulled together a cool thing. And then just, I don't know, it's funny. I mean, I still have the recordings on my phone, so I could leak them or something. Yeah.
You gotta accidentally leave your phone out, and then Klep will accidentally send it to himself, and then
right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know. I slipped, and the music ended up on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know who did it.
Right.
All Sherlock Holmes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of recording music, I know y'all have 2 songs out that you've put out this year so far, I believe, and tell us more about that and recording those. And wait, did I lose y'all?
No, I'm listening. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why my screen just went black, but if you can see me, those songs are fucking crazy. You're telling me 12-minute, 8-minute rippers.
Yeah.
Tell us more about these bad boys.
Well, thanks for asking about that too, because that was a really fun process. And again, it was all done live in the room, actually.
Sweet.
The only 2 things that weren't live in the room, well, I guess a few things. So both of those songs Dan's singing on, and they're also songs that he kind of originated, and some stuff was worked out as a band and added to them, which is a fun process. But yeah, so the singing wasn't done in the room or Dan's turntable. And then also something that was really funny about those sessions, it's all done live in the room, And so if a mistake is made and it's not noticed, it could have got left in there. And Ross had his phone on in his pocket with his bass, and we're listening. There's the song "Wander," and it gets really quiet, right? And it's this psychedelic kind of spacey vibe, and you just hear this awful cracking sound, and we're like, dude, and we isolated it. The engineer JC, we did at his studio, Lake Bottom, which, by the way, if anyone's out there and needs a cool spot to record, JC is the man. He makes it easy and really relaxed. But yeah, so JC isolates it, and he's like, fucking Ross, And And Ross, like, he didn't want to redo it. So he's like, oh, I kind of like it. It sounds like atmospheric. And we're all like, dude, just grab your bass. So he redid like a good portion of Wander, just because of like some of that interference kind of stuff. But yeah, they're long songs. We were all like, I think, really proud to do them in the room together, like as a band, because I mean, we are kind of a jam band. I mean, that's probably the best thing to describe us. Some people say we're jazz fusion, and then there's obviously the reggae element. But so I feel like a jam band or improvisational band should be able to do that stuff in the room,
Yeah.
So I think none of us would have wanted to do it any other way. So we succeeded in that, and that's
Nice.
pretty cool,
No, that's very cool. I mean, I love that shit. Like, you're speaking to the right people right now, talking about doing it like that. And again, I don't know. I've been thinking more about like music and just like the imperfections of it and putting it out. And it's like that's a great story now for you guys to be able to laugh back and like
right.
look back. But it's, I don't know, the essence that a song is like that is what it was at that time in history, and you can always do it different live. You can always redo it and just record live versions is like, yeah, what it's about. And they're like crazy. Like, I was like going on a walk earlier and I was just like, what the fuck, dude? This is nuts. And again, most common listeners as well, even the people that do music, are just going to go thumbs up or thumbs down. And
Yeah.
they're not looking for the specific things, and it's just an experience. And y'all definitely succeeded with that.
Yeah, well, thank you for
100%.
taking the time to listen closer to it. Like, you guys know as musicians, when somebody notices like little details or like how a song like has this sort of like arc that you planned for it, it means a lot as a creative, because those are the things that you kind of labor over. I mean, the outro to Wander, it's that like weird kind of fucked up chord changes that Dan came up with, and we spent a while like coming up with all those parts over it, like the kind of like Allman Brothers, like but metal version, like guitar harmonies at the end. Like, that was my idea, and I was really happy to kind of add that to the mix. And yeah, that was something that we kind of like screwed around with and figured out, and it does get like slightly kind of heavy metal on that part, So, and I'm a metalhead. Like, that's how I started playing music. Like, I was into like super brutal music, like Cannibal Corpse, just like stuff that you don't play when your mom's around,
Yeah, I feel that. That was like probably the first genre of music that I was like really into. Maybe not quite like as heavy as Cannibal Corpse, but like
Right.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, I love
Slipknot,
Avenged,
Linkin
yeah.
Park, like
Yeah.
those types of bands.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the new metal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that stuff like kind of hit at a good time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, Avenged was so good. I mean, talk about like guitar harmonies. I call them guitar harmonies. I can't remember who I stole that from, but they had all those, and it was like so cool, like.
Yeah.
And as a musician, when you're first starting, like, it's really attractive to hear this stuff where it's like everyone's just like just beating the shit out of their instruments,
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that's like a big appeal to that stuff too.
Yeah, Humphreys McGee, that's another band that does like those guitar harmonies super well.
Yeah, I like Humphreys too because they get really heavy too.
They do.
So
yeah.
they kind of merge like two of the big worlds for me in music, like between the pretty heavy and like kind of proggy metal and then the jam band stuff. And they're one of the few people that I think actually do it well and have a legacy of doing that too. Like, they have one song, I think it's called like Wizard Burial Ground or something.
Yep.
Is that right? That's like my favorite song, dude. Like, that song rips,
That
And-
sure does.
yeah.
That's not even on an album. Like, that's a song they only play live.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of stealing from the Grateful Dead tradition too. Like, there's quite a few songs. Like, I think He's Gone, not on an album. Jack Straw, not on an album. I mean, they're on like Europe 72, which is like almost an album, but that's just a live show,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I like that stuff too. Like, actually, with like the Noah Imua project, I have a couple songs that are just on live albums too. But
Right
that was
on.
not out of like a vision. That was just out of laziness because I wasn't getting in the studio at the time,
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, I've got one live album out under that name that was done at Howard's too, because Howard's is kind of like a home away from home venue for me, So I don't know. And Steve is just such a cool guy there. Like anybody who plays there knows Steve, and they know just like how much of an avid music like lover and supporter that guy is. And I mean, I was playing there like every month for a while, and then I don't know. It started to get a little slow because I don't have a ton of BG people, you know. So now I just play like really special shows there. Like Keep It Casual is gonna be playing there with Subterranean, who is like a really dope
Dude,
band.
that band is crazy.
Yeah. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't really know them that well. You know,
They're from Dayton,
you know.
so
Okay.
yeah, like Spruce and I had like a buddy who is my bandmate. He like knows all of the frickin' jam bands like from Ohio.
Okay.
And, yeah, like we played a show with Spruce, and like he came up to Toledo to practice with us, and after we were just chopping it up, and he like threw on Subterranean, and that like it is some of the craziest music. Like
Okay.
you will
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
great time playing with those dudes.
I might be wrong, but I think they only have like one album, and it is like a
Yeah.
masterpiece. Like I ripped that
Yeah.
shit fall of last year, like from like a month and a half straight.
Yeah. What is it like? So, what's your guys like everyday listening for you guys? Like the stuff that you kind of like feel the most connected with in music. You know.
Ooh. It's hard to
It is
say because
hard,
it
yeah.
does kind of change. Like,
Yeah.
I guess over the last few years, I've like really gotten into country and bluegrass.
Okay.
But I mean, jam bands I've liked for probably like close to a decade, and
Nice.
I mean before that, more of like '90s grunge, heavy metal, like alternative rock, that sort of stuff.
Mm.
I guess jazz too. I've been like really into like fusion jazz and even like older post bop jazz.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. And Spruce, what about you for like, or lately or the all time
Yeah.
answer?
No, lately definitely a shit ton of King Gizzard, which I'm rocking right now.
Yeah, those guys are so cool because every album is like a totally different genre.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, they're about to drop one with an orchestra next week. It's
Oh
like
damn!
the fuck.
The last
So, no,
guy, not to cut you off, but really quick because I do get excited about Giz. Like, didn't they just put out like a EDM album or something like that? I want to say like it was like, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah. The Silver Cord they put out
Yeah.
that one in like 2023, end of 23 or something.
Okay, word, yeah.
They're every single genre. I mean,
Right.
it's endless, which is amazing. And then rocking out to Fish as well. Like I've been just loving fucking diving into their studio albums recently.
Okay.
But I've also been loving, the pop girls are killing it. I've been running those albums, which have been some sick production.
Mm.
But most of the time, like when I'm stuck, Klep and I have two playlists now. It's called the Stampede Shuffle 1.0, and now that we have 2.0 because they kept us at 10,000 songs. I think we're close to 17,000 songs now.
Wow.
Between the two,
Yeah.
and it's just him and I, and then a little bit of our other buddies. But we just added to this playlist, and like so many times, it's just I know one or two songs from this artist that came on the shuffle. I'm going on a walk, like fuck it, I'll just run an album, and so that's kind of how I've been listening to music the last couple of years and finding new artists and people that I like kind of know and haven't taken the full dive in. So that's really how I've been listening recently.
Nice. Yeah, you guys, I'm picking up like more that we're talking that you guys are really like have the bug. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah.
like it's like yeah. But yeah, that's cool. Like also like talking about like jazz music too. Like I've been listening to a lot like 70s and 80s like Japanese jazz fusion stuff like Cassiopeia, and like Masayoshi Takanaka. I don't know if you guys know those.
I know him.
Yeah.
Like I guess I didn't even discover him on my own. I have a buddy who like would just send me a bunch of his stuff, and so I've checked out a few albums. Yeah, that dude is crazy.
Oh, dude, the best part about him is he's like the coolest dude. Like one of his album covers is literally him like skydiving, and you can see like these like dormant volcanoes like underneath him and stuff. Like
That's wild.
it's so cool. Like, and he has this like big surfboard guitar that he plays. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yeah, I love his music. Like he's kind of almost in a way you could draw some parallels to the King Gizzard kind of approach where he has so many albums, and I mean a lot of them are like kind of in his zone, right? It's like this very upbeat and positive kind of like almost George Benson-esque jazz fusion in some ways. But yeah, he has like one album called The Rainbow Goblins, and this one's actually not on streaming, but I would urge you guys to check it out if you haven't. It's a concept album based on some sort of Japanese like children's book, and it's about these like rainbow colored goblins. Okay. So him and his band, they all wear like these giant, like I assume paper mache goblin masks. And if you look it up on YouTube, there's a concert. They play the whole album front to back, and they're all dressed up like goblins. And dude, it's so cool. Yeah, this is in like the 80s too.
No. All right, I gotta check that shit out.
Yeah,
that sounds like a perfect night. The only Japanese band I've ever listened to is the Kikagaku Moyo. If you know them, it's that band that our buddies from Slag Genie, they're a Cleveland band. Zach and Dave, they talked about them on our show, and they're a Japanese band from like probably like the first album was like 2014, I believe.
Okay,
so they put out a few albums, but. There's one called The Forest of Lost Children, I believe is the album name. And it's like a jam band fusion. Like, it's fucking amazing.
Nice. So I'll check that out. Yeah.
Moyo. Yeah. I'll send it over to you or Klep or something. We'll email it to you because it's nice. Yeah, they're wild.
Yeah, I'll trade you goblins for it,
Yeah, right? Like you said, I loved it. Y'all like how you like y'all got the itch or whatever the hell you just said. I was geeking to that because it's like that's all I think about.
Right. No, it's becoming apparent. You guys are telling on yourselves a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
we're not even.
Yeah. I love it. No, I get it. Like, I kind of go through peaks and valleys sometimes, though. Like, it's weird. Sometimes, like, I actually don't listen to much music at all for an extended period.
Yeah,
like, it could last a few months or something, and then I'll get back into it. And I don't even know why it happens, to be honest. Like, I'm still playing all the time, Maybe when I'm doing that, I'm just a little more focused on, like, what's missing from what I'm doing instead of trying to, like, grab even more information, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I need to take a step back and, like, reevaluate maybe some things I could do in a more, like, holistic way, or what's wrong with my technique, which I try to be really like smart about that too. So actually one of my old drummers, his name's Owen, he plays in a really great band in Cleveland, People in the Daytime.
Dude, I've played with them.
Oh, you have?
Like,
yeah.
Dude, so back in 2019 I had a band called Tomo Alone, and like they were just getting going, I think, around then. And yeah, 2018, 2019, and like I just remember we played at the Winchester up here, and they were rowdy, like synth fucking blaring.
Yeah, and they're cool as shit.
Everybody plays drums. Yeah, they've been playing a lot recently, like the Beachland Ballroom with that Colin Miller band that we were talking about earlier. So that's very nice. I haven't seen them play in a couple years though. So
they're leveled up. Like they were already really good and just like good songs, But like, yeah, they're amazing. We've played a couple shows together, but Owen and I go back like a long ways. Like, him and I actually met and the reason I was bringing him up just to finish that loop was basically because at one point he had a really bad wrist injury that put him out of playing the drums for like a very long time. So he kind of taught me the lesson and really like urged the point to me and like a lot of our fellow musician friends to like really take care of your body and, not be too like, I don't know, just reckless with it. Mm-hmm. And so, that was like a big learning moment for me. So now I always do like wrist stretches and make sure I'm not tense and stuff. But, I don't know. So Owen's taught me a lot of cool stuff, though. He's a phenomenal musician, and he's actually like my lifeline for when So I write a lot of progressive music with like odd times and stuff. And he's just such a better like rhythmist than I am. So I'll call him and I'll be like, oh, and what time signature is this in? So I can like, help somebody else learn this piece of music,
Yeah.
And the last one I called him for was really weird. It's like a super compound meter, so it's 15/16.
Okay.
So you have to break it up, like but like a 8 and a 7, I guess you could do, or 4/4/4/3 or something. But yeah, so Owen's a cool dude, and definitely like a lot of love for people in the daytime because they are just really great.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get them on our radar here to have on too, and
Yeah.
we'll be in touch, people. From the daytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, wait. So has guitar always been your instrument then? Like, when did you start playing guitar? And
Yeah, well, guitar was definitely my first instrument, but I wouldn't say it's always been my primary one because there was a period where I really considered myself to be a drummer, I guess. And that was kind of just by virtue of the fact that I was playing in a band on drums, So I was really, yeah, exactly, right, yeah. And so like the more that I played drums, I was just like falling in love with that for a while. But I mean, yeah, without getting too much of a drumming tangent, guitar has definitely been like my primary thing. And I started when I was 10. My brother and I, we had like Guitar Hero, and he and I both like really loved that. And I think my parents saw that, so they got my brother Jake. He's a few years older than I am. They got him a guitar for his birthday. So, being the little brother, my brother's doing it, and I'm gonna want to. Right, so I beg and beg and beg for a guitar, and so they buy me a guitar like a week later, and it was like a little blue like flying V. It was like this big or something, and it only had like 12 frets on it, so it was not like a full guitar,
Okay.
that's fun.
And I was playing that thing, man. Like I was really trying, and I remember my guitar teacher at the time, Chetta Clausen's his name. He's in Monroe, in Michigan, and he's amazing too. I could talk about him a lot because he really mentored me for those like early years for a long time. But I remember it might have been like Layla by Clapton or something. I wanted to learn, or just something that was higher up the neck. And he goes, well, we're going to have to get you another guitar because you don't have enough frets to play that part. And it was like not until that point that I didn't realize it wasn't really a real guitar that I had. So then I got like some sort of used LTD that was all spiky. And man, I wish I would have kept it because it was really cool. And it was kind of sentimental because it was really my first real guitar. But yeah, so I played that for a while, just kind of kept going. And then kind of I was a teenager, I kind of stood out a little bit, so I didn't have as many friends, like I've always been like a eccentric person, and like teachers were telling my parents to put me on like Ritalin or like something to focus me or calm me down, and because I was like really like a super hyperactive kid, but at the same time I was very like reserved and unsure of myself at that time. So kind of in response to that and the way that people were starting to kind of treat me around me, I just would play guitar for like 8 hours a day. Like I would lock myself in my room, and a lot of times my parents would just like put the plate of food for dinner at my door because they knew I didn't want to come out, and I was just in there, man. And like I would like take a bite in between playing on songs and like, and so I just like really fell head over heels for music and kind of never looked back, and like it's led me to like all my best friends in my life. It's led me to being just like a better person who understands how to be empathetic and improvisational and all the things that I do. I don't know at all what my life would be like if I would have decided to stop playing and do something else, so that like those kind of thoughts never truly crossed my mind that I wouldn't identify as a musician first, so yeah, I don't know, it's been like a really cool journey. I mean, there's been tons of ups and downs, like I definitely have felt defeated at times, like man, this sucks, and like it just doesn't go my way. Like, you start giving yourself that kind of negative self-talk, like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but for the most part, it's always been good. And like, I had an early band when I was a teenager that we were called 6 Foot Roses. And that stuff's out there on streaming too. If anybody does want to check it out, it's music I'm still really proud of. We recorded that EP in the studio that Justin Bieber cut his first album in.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
yeah. There's like pictures of the Biebs like all throughout the hallways of this like huge studio. Like actually, like I was talking about Owen, his dad, has got a little bit of money and kind of put us up for that recording time because he really thought we were doing a good thing, and it's pretty cool he did that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
Yeah,
Where's that studio at?
in Cleveland. Yeah,
Okay.
So it's Lava Room,
it's
right?
Lava Room. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You've probably done some
How-
stuff there.
Dude, so I always like heard rumors kind of about that Justin Bieber
Yeah.
thing, and so I'm glad you just confirmed that.
Yeah. At the
and
time, they
I-
definitely had his picture up. I remember we had a picture of all of us standing around the picture of Bieber because it was like we thought Bieber was so lame. Like we were metalheads and like into punk rock and grunge, so we were like, "Fuck this guy! Like this is our studio,"
hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I went there once. I cut a record with some buddies back in like 2017, and we checked out that studio as well. But yeah, it was way out of our price range, and
Yeah.
no, they said some funny stuff to us. Like the guy who was giving us the tour literally was like, "There's this price range," and he's like, "But if you stay there, our producer's gonna work with you. But if he comes up with an idea for your song, he's not gonna tell you." And we're like, "Wait, what?
What is that? What does that even mean, though?
Dude, we were naive, like straight out
Yeah.
of college, being like, "Oh, we got these 8 songs, we're ready to roll," and they were just like, "You pay us, baby." And so did the other place.
Hey, we got lucky because we had like someone to pay for it, and
Yeah,
actually the engineer there that we worked with, his name is Mike Pfaff, and that dude is so cool, man. Like he was so hilarious, like, and he knew we were just like teenagers, like Owen was like 14 at that time, I think,
Oh,
or
wow.
15, like.
Wow.
And dude, if you guys listen to it, the drumming is like fucking insane. Like it's like crazy good.
Wait, so what year was this?
Feet Roses.
Yeah, 6 Foot Roses.
6 Foot
Yeah.
Roses.
Well, it was 10 years ago, I think.
Okay,
Maybe
so, all right.
yeah, maybe longer cuz I'm
14, 15.
maybe even 11 years ago or something cuz like so I'm 27 now, I'll be 28 this year, and I think we recorded it when I was 16 or 17.
Dang.
But the memory's foggy because it's like that band went through a lot of different phases. Like we had our original bass player who's on that EP, Brandon. He went and left for the Air Force. Like he had a lot of pressure of his parents to like do something, And we all thought the band would be that something. Like I mean, because when you're young, and to be honest, we were really good for our age. Like like we had good songs. We played really exciting shows, and so I guess it felt like maybe something could happen on some level, So then Brandon leaves, and we're all like, well, fuck, like we'll get somebody else, I guess. And we tried a few people out, and then my brother was playing bass for a while, and him and I have always played music together. Like
Very cool.
yeah, he moved from guitar to bass like a long time ago, and that's still kind of his instrument when he does play, even though he's not as into music these days. But yeah, so I mean that was a good time, and I'm lucky for that because like a lot of musicians I know didn't get to like, I don't know if you want to say like cut your teeth or like make the early mistakes, like all that stuff. Like, I mean, I got all that out of the way, and we played a ton of shows when I was really young. And even before that band, we had like some sort of cover band thing going when I was 14, 13 is I think when it started. And, so like, I mean, we got to play a ton of shows, and, people thought it was dope. We were like these kids, like, yeah, we used to play with our shirts off because we were all into the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
And I would wear a kilt and no shirt, and I would like,
And-
you know,
And socks on your feet.
Yeah. Exactly, man. Exactly. I tried to convince them to actually do that one time. It might have been like a Halloween thing we were doing. I was like, "Come on, guys, this is like the one chance," like,
That's,
I don't know how the socks stay on. That's the question.
I was gonna say you got to duct tape it on. You got to
Yeah,
take some
yeah.
Rubber band.
It's
Right.
It's waxing as well for you. So
Right.
double-
You get a 2-for-1, right? Yeah.
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of bang. I love it. Well, something else that like you pointed out, like then like I don't know why I was like it just hit me when you were talking about the skills it taught you to learn and just music, being able to deal with like negativity and things that change. But like the biggest one and underlining one that is huge is just communication and obviously that's like a standard thing, but like being able to like talk to people, like especially when there's like other people invested obviously in a band and you're making decisions on a record and stuff of that nature. Like, I mean, it's like friction to a sense, but if everyone has like an understanding that like, hey, it's music at the end of the day, like let's throw it at a wall, test it out. If we all don't agree or majority or whatever, then that's how it rolls. But yeah, to be able to deal with like expressing that, but even if you lose, being okay with it and being able to handle that is like a huge part as well as collaboration.
Yeah, and I mean, you learn to compromise, right? Too. Like, that's kind of the tough one. Like, because on the 6 Foot Roses EP, now that I'm thinking about all that stuff, I think I contributed one song that I wrote to that one, and I wasn't singing at the time, so it was like a really like it sounded like early Chili Peppers, like punk mixed with funk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a super chaotic song. We did that one live in the room, and that was the only one on that like record. But our singer Will, and who's still one of my best friends to this day, and yeah, he hated the song. Like he really didn't want to do it. Like because the way the song went, it was called "I Don't Know and I Don't Give a Fuck," and the chorus would go, "I don't know and I don't give a fuck. No, I don't know and I don't give a fuck." And his parents could be really strict, so he was worried they would be like super pissed that he was. And all the lyrics were weird. He improvised actually all the lyrics, and it was like a freestyle rap, and it was like weird stuff he was saying. It's like all the things that I can get to are all inside of a trash can. It was like it didn't make any sense, man. Like you know, but like, he caved, and it ended up on the thing. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I think on the CDs it's not listed. So it's like a secret track, you know.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. So it's like after the last song ends and the song starts, it just sounds super ugly and weird, you know. So it's like people were walking in, all these like old dudes who worked at the studio, like, yes, you guys do like a Mr. Bungle thing. I was like, not the rest of what we just recorded, but this, you know. So it's funny. They're good memories. Yeah, Will has a good band too that is in Cleveland. I would recommend you guys check out to interview. They're called Candria, and they're like a prog metal band, kind of similar to like Tool.
Okay.
Yeah, he does a whole cool persona for it. So he shaves his head, he paints all his skin white with like body paint, and he wears a hospital gown, and he carries around like an IV stand, and he'll like lean on it. Like it looks super creepy. It's like,
I will not take any psychedelics before this.
Yeah. Oh no, dude. No, don't even think about it. Like the music's kind of scary too. Like when it needs to be, you know. Yeah. That's like one where you can pass on that, right? Like save it for dead.
That's rowdy though.
Yeah.
I have not. Yeah. All right. I'll have to check them out because. Yeah, I like to say I'm hip to the Cleveland scene, but I've not, not dove into them.
Yeah, they're newer, so but they're getting a good role for them. You know,
I feel like I've heard of them, and like maybe like have they opened for any like I guess semi big bands or?
I know they've opened for a few touring bands.
That's what I mean.
You know?
Like I feel like I saw them as like an opener for like a touring band at like. Maybe like the Agora or like a venue of like that nature.
Yeah, that could be right. You know, I'd like to say I always keep up on all the things my musician friends are doing, but there's so many things happening all at once. That could totally be right though. I mean, and they're really cool. Like, I mean, yeah, and I just love their music not only because it's really cool music, but because one of my best friends is making it. And I mean, him and I played together since we were like 13. You know. Mm-hmm. And still get to be good friends. Like, that's just like another thing. Like music just kind of binds people together, and it
Absolutely.
keeps you from getting in trouble too.
Yeah, it's
know?
a connective force for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like, yeah, I barely know how to make friends without music. You know, like they at least have to be like an avid listener for me to like. I mean, I'll make conversation about anything, you know, but
Oh, you just sparked something. So this weekend, I was at like a wedding and talking with people, and this girl was like, "I love Billy Strings,"
yeah,
and I was like, "Nice, nice." And I've only dove in minimally, but I knew a few songs, listened to a couple albums, and I was like, "Oh, like what's like one of your favorite songs of his?" And she was like, well, and she's like, she's seen him double-digit times, but she's like, I see him, but I don't listen to him. And I'm like,
wow.
what? Yeah. I was like, what? Like, she's obsessed with him, like, loves it. I'm just like, wait, but you don't listen to it, though? Like, it was such like a crazy concept. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard of someone, because you just don't go to shows of people you don't really listen to. You aren't willing to, like, spend the money.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
dude,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Billy is crazy live. Have either of you guys seen him live or?
I was just there last weekend when he was up at Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like the first set of the Saturday show is like the best Billy set I've ever seen.
Hell yeah, yeah, he's burning, dude. Like seriously, like as a guitar player, when I've seen him twice. I actually got to go to that like Halloween thing he did, the wrestling themed one.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you saw anything about that, but it was hilarious, dude. Like everybody's dressed up as a wrestler, so he's Hulk Hogan,
Okay.
and they like as the band members and like special guests would be introduced, the band would play like the wrestling theme for the wrestler they're dressed as. It was
awesome.
And still is the best show I've ever been to. Like
Okay.
it was that good. Like, and I've seen like a lot of bands that are really great, but like it was just also because of how special it was. Like he had every special guest you would want to see at like a bluegrass show. You know, like
when was that?
I want to say it was last year or the year before.
Okay. So fairly recently.
Oh yeah, I mean, and dude, it was like half of it was a rock show, like you know, because they had one of the Allman Brothers' sons was playing drums like the whole night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the guy's name? I think he is the drummer for Widespread Panic.
I think yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Is it like Derek Allman or?
I think his last name is Trucks.
Yeah,
I can't remember the first name.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a real tall, you know. So I can't remember who he dressed up as, but he had a lot of bits where he was wrestling with people and he threw a couple people off the stage, like into stuff. Like it was like a whole, like they had like choreographed fights and stuff, you know. Like
that's wild.
it was crazy. Like they played a lot of, like they did like a bluegrass, like electric bluegrass version of like Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, which was like amazing. Like
yeah.
you know. And then they like transitioned that into Voodoo Child, and he played like nearly a 10-minute long guitar solo on Voodoo Child.
Dang.
And it like melted my face. Like it was really cool.
Billy with drums, man.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I couldn't get enough of it. Like I want to see him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big bluegrass fan. I like, you know, Doc, and I like Tony Rice, and you know, Dog, and like all those musicians. But like, I wouldn't mind hearing him do more stuff with the band because he's just, I think he's like a standout musician. You know, like he's like a once in a generation type of guy. You know.
Yeah.
No, that would be cool. I was just actually reading that like 10 years ago or something like that is when the Dave Matthews Band did a 2-set tour where the first one was all acoustic and then the second set was all rock. And I'm like, that'd be pretty sick. Like just like for any artist to be able to do that, that would just be a sick show to go see.
Yeah, I mean, especially for DMB, like because I mean, obviously Dave Matthews is one of those people who kind of changed how like a whole generation of guitar players wanted to play. And then not to mention Carter Buford on drums and what he did for the musical community. Like he's so funny, man. He always wears those golfing gloves.
Yep.
And he plays open-handed most of the time.
Yeah. Well, he is left-handed, so it's like at some point he probably was just always around right-handed kits and just decided like screw it, like dominant hand on the
hi-hat,
and
yeah.
I'm just like not gonna
I'm
cross.
Hendrix's kid.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Stuart Copeland did too, actually.
Interesting.
He's
I didn't know
left-handed.
he was a lefty.
Yeah, and he's a left-handy who plays traditional grip.
Yeah.
You know, like
Mhm.
which is even more interesting, I think. Like, I really want to learn traditional grip on drums. Like, I'm hoping to get back into playing because like Dan has a drum kit at our practice space, which is just like in his backyard, which is really cool. Because we play till like all hours of the night. He's like out in Delta, so there's nobody around. You know,
That's awesome. Yeah.
but anyway, oh yeah, we got a spare drum set there that never gets used. So I asked him, I was like, "Can I take this home and play on it?" He's like, "Absolutely, get it out of the way." You know, we're
Yeah.
be done tripping over a bass drum in the middle of the room. You know, so hopefully soon I'll be able to grab that from him when my car's not full of guitar amps and shit, and just set it up in my basement, start playing again, and you know. I don't know. I want to get back into like recording music at home too. Like I've got a little setup for it, so there's no reason for me not to. And
Yeah.
just like put out really,
practicing,
you know. Yeah. And I write a lot of weird music that I can't play in like any of the bands that I'll play with, you know, because it's just like too ugly and bizarre, and you know, no one's gonna want to hear that, like except for the real weirdos, you know. So.
So with Keep It Casual, I know you said you have that show coming up here with Subterranean. Do you guys have any other shows or like any other plans for like recorded music coming up within the next year or so?
Yeah, we have a show at the Funk Factories Festival out at Poe Road. So that's the family function, and there's like there's an event on Facebook, so people can check that out. That's a 2-day event out at Poe Road. So we're gonna be camping out and getting weird, and actually we also have like an alter ego band for Keep It Casual called Keep It Grateful that stemmed off of that first gig. So we do the Grateful Dead tribute, and so we're playing 2 sets at the function. Keep It Grateful and Keep It Casual. We're also doing Old West End Fest, doing a porch set and at the Arboretum.
Old West End Fest is this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sneaks up on me. So, yeah, we'll be doing that, man, and that'll be a lot of fun. We did it last year and had a lot of fun. Yeah, last year I did it with the trio and with Keep It Casual because I was still doing more with my trio at that time. Yeah, Keep It Casual. I mean, we have a website, dudekeepitcasual.com, Instagram, so like people can easily kind of go and see what we're up to. Yeah, and then not to forget about the music. Like we got another song recorded. I think it's Fresh New Beanie. I can't remember which of our other originals we recorded, but that'll be out pretty soon. And that's another like 8-9 minute jammer, something around there.
Yeah.
So we don't do short songs, man. We don't do that shit.
Most of my favorite songs are like over 5 minutes in length. Like,
yeah,
generally speaking, like a song that's under 5 minutes like struggles to hold my attention. That's like a general.
That's the opposite of what should be happening.
Yeah.
This is how our brains are broken by improvisational music. This is what our parents were worried about when we first got into it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like jam bands, their best songs are like 7, 8, 9.
Oh yeah, 20
10.
minutes.
Yeah. I mean, do you listen to Yes at all?
Oh, I love Yes.
Dude,
yeah,
they have an album. Like I'm sure you've heard of it, Tales from Topographic Ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
2-disc album, only 4 songs. Like
right.
1 song per side.
Well, isn't it Close to the Edge? That's like just a whole side of an album too.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
Yep. Yeah, like I can't remember if it's the first side or second side.
Yeah.
It's all 1 song. I mean, even that album is only 3 songs. So
yeah.
One of the sides is only 2 songs.
Right. It's I actually saw Yes, well, a version of Yes, because obviously I'm not old enough to see them back in the day, but
yeah.
I saw a version of Yes play Close to the Edge all the way through.
Dude, same.
Yeah, as well as I think they did the Yes album, and then they played a couple songs. Oh, and it was the Yes album, Going for the One, Close to the Edge, and then at the end they played a couple songs from Fragile, like Roundabout and stuff.
This was all in one show.
One night.
Oh, wow.
That was one night. They played all 3 of those albums and an encore. and it was still with Steve Howe on guitar,
Okay.
like approaching 90 or something, dude.
Yeah.
You know, he looks so like meek and like old, you know, like not to be
He still
disrespectful
has it,
of the
though.
legend, but it really does look like you're watching like a wizard at the end of his life, you know. Like it's crazy. I don't know how he does it. Like he played the clap, like that acoustic piece, you know, and that's like maybe one of the most demanding songs, I would say, in some ways. And
Absolutely.
there was not one wrong note. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. The show I saw of theirs was on the Close to the Edge tour. So the second set was just that album, and then like the first set was like a mix of hits. And they had just released the new album at that time. Like this was like a couple years ago.
Okay.
So they played a couple songs off that. But yeah, the encore had Starship Trooper in it.
Oh,
And
dude,
same thing.
that's such-
He just
yeah.
did not miss a note.
That's one of my favorite songs is Starship Trooper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My buddy that I used to jam with as a teenager, he got me into Yes and King Crimson, and but the one thing he steered me wrong on was he said, "Oh, but in the '80s, all the music from these prog bands started to suck," which is totally wrong.
Yeah, my
Like-
favorite Yes album is 90125.
Okay,
which is an
yeah.
80s one.
My favorite King Crimson records are the '80s ones. There's only 3 of them, and it's Adrian Belew on guitar, Tony Levin on bass, Bill Bruford on drums, and of course Robert Fripp. And that lineup is crazy. And it's this, you know those records, right? Yeah. It's like mind-bending music. Like, yeah, I don't know. So he was really wrong about that. Like, I don't know. He couldn't have been more wrong. The 80s was almost better for prog. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other bands that were like other prog bands that were really good in the 80s. I guess, I don't know. I want to say Chicago, but they almost lost the prog element in the 80s.
Yeah, Genesis also went a lot less progressive.
Yeah.
But it's still good albums.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's not like they have no value just because it stopped being like the early like proto prog psychedelia. Like it just took a different form and shape, and it's still like insanely cool music. Like, and it took me a long time to get around to those King Crimson records because I had this belief kind of like almost in me since I was a kid that those ones you just don't listen to, and a lot of the fan base feels that way, which is just bizarre to me. It's like, I promise if you listen to Beat or you listen to Discipline, like you'll never say anything bad about those records. Like Discipline especially, I think that's my favorite prog album ever, to be honest with you. Yeah, it might be. I mean, at least it is right now. Like Frame by Frame and all the songs on that record, Elephant Talk, like and Elephant Talk is like there'd be no Primus without Elephant Talk, you know. It's like that. It's like,
I can definitely
you know.
see how like Les picked up some stuff from that.
Yeah, well, I think he was into all that stuff. He was a Deadhead too, which is kind of crazy, and I think still really likes the Dead's music, you know. But Billy Strange has been playing with Les Claypool too.
Yeah. At those shows in Van Andel Arena, Primus played there the Wednesday before, and Billy sat in.
Yeah, they did a record together, I think. Right, he was at least on. Les was on a couple of Billy's songs on one of his records, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because Les Claypool, the cool thing about him too is he's kind of like a bluegrass kind of hillbilly guy too, underneath like the other weird shit that he's created for himself, you know. Yeah. You guys ever hear about how he auditioned for Metallica?
Yeah, I it wasn't until recently that I like heard about that.
Yeah.
I think I saw like an Instagram reel about it. It wasn't like anything super long form. But yeah, that's a super interesting story. So yeah, it was because him and James Hetfield went to high school together, right?
Yeah, they did, and a lot of people bring up that as like an analogy to being like overqualified for a job, you know? Like, because I mean, can you guys imagine that though? Like the world we'd live in. Like I want to go to that parallel universe where it was him.
Yeah. I wonder. I feel like at some point though, there would have been some too much friction, like creatively.
Yeah. He was just doing too much of his own thing. I think that's what I had heard in an interview with James Hetfield. He said that like they could just tell that Les Claypool was so like distinct and different than a lot of the musicians that they knew. Because I'm not sure if Primus was a thing yet when that happened. Because it was after Cliff died, so it's like early days, that he had done that. But I remember seeing Les Claypool talk about it. It was really funny. He said, I think I weirded them out and they never called me. And I don't think I blame them.
Yeah.
Like pre-success, Les Claypool would probably be a little bit of a weird guy to get in a room with, Probably freak you out a little.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what that would look like, but I'd like to know. Yeah.
Maybe one day we could have that collaboration.
Yeah. You never know, I guess. Right. Like, I mean, he's kind of one of those musicians who seems pretty open to all that stuff. But yeah. And like talking about metal music, do you guys still either of you listen to much like kind of heavy stuff or?
Yeah. Like last year, was it last year or was it 2 years ago? Like when Metallica came to Detroit, I went to those shows.
Okay.
Earlier this year, I saw, I guess they'd probably be considered metalcore band called Silverstein.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I've seen the like Warped tour forever ago when that was still a thing.
Yep, they played Warped Tour. I'm going to see Linkin Park, and I think that's in August. I mean, they like growing up, that was like by far my favorite band. So
yeah.
I'm just like curious to see what they're gonna sound like with the new singer and all that.
Yeah, I like what she's been doing. Like a lot of the fan base was really kind of shitty about that, but
yeah, but it's
it's kind of
like
it's
how
tough,
do you
though.
replace Chester? You can't. So they're like, all right, we're just gonna go in a totally different direction.
Yeah,
and it's basically a new band because something that gets overlooked too. They lost their drummer, who was super creative with like the beats and rhythms that he would provide. So it really is a new band.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, because Linkin Park was like a big band for me too, growing up, and I always thought Chester Bennington was like a really just amazing performer, and by all accounts, human being too. So, yeah, I still listen to a lot of brutal music though. Like I can't even lie.
What have you been listening to?
I really have always liked Opeth. I don't know if either of you guys have checked them out.
I've heard of them. Never really dove too deep though.
Yeah, if you guys both like a lot of progressive and like lengthy songs and stuff, so you can definitely turn to Opeth for that. They have one album that's actually just a lot like King Crimson or Yes. It's not even really a metal record, just like prog rock. It's something Orchard, maybe the Devil's Orchard or something. It's like, but you can't miss it if you see the album cover and everything. But yeah, and then they have other albums that are just totally like an onslaught, like very brutal. And so like they stay in rotation for me, and then like Mastodon is a mainstay.
Okay.
Yeah. Also the cartoon metal band Death Clock from the show Metalocalypse on Adult Swim.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
I never watched it too much, but I remember that show. I didn't realize there was like a band associated with it.
Yeah, the creator of the show, Brendan Small, he's like this phenomenal guitar player. Like a lot of people thought he was Buckethead, if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
He was the KFC Bucket, so no one knows who he is, and everyone's like, Brendan Small's got to be Buckethead. He's the only guy who can shred like that, And so Death Clock is actually insanely good. Like they're like a real band, but it's all just they'll write like these pieces of songs for the show, and then it'll turn into like a whole album. So they've got 4 full records out of like technical melodic death metal, which is just sick. And then the last kind of metal band I'll mention too is this one out of the UK. They're called Empire State Bastard. And if you guys like anything, just kind of like it's got some punk elements, and it's like Dave Lombardo, the drummer from Slayer, plays with them.
He's
Yeah,
a crazy good drummer.
dude, he's insane. He goes like ape shit on this record. Like it's the vocalist from Biffy Clyro. Do you guys know that band?
I'm not familiar. No.
Okay, they're kind of like in a way like mainstream like heavy metal pop rock is how I would put it. Biffy Clyro, and they're really good. But in this band, he's just the vocalist. He doesn't play guitar or anything, and his heated vocals are just different because it literally just sounds like a guy screaming his voice out. Like there's no technique, there's nothing. Like it's just like absolute like visceral music, and I don't know why. Like sometimes that just does it for me. So
Yeah, fair
maybe
enough.
there's something wrong with me. I don't know, but I like hearing people just like super pissed off.
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the things that like drew me into Slipknot early was just like the raw emotion and Corey Taylor singing.
Yeah, it brings out a different like emotional release to listen to that kind of music. And so in a way, it's kind of therapeutic, even though the music is like nobody would think of it that way unless you're into that music. But it really is, and honestly, like a lot of my metalhead friends are like some of the sweetest people that I know, and then they'll go home and listen to some song about like horrible things. Like, you know, I don't know. It's cool though. Yeah, I try to listen to like the stuff that still makes my like inner child happy, and my inner child for some reason liked Cannibal Corpse. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, keep them going, you know.
Absolutely. No, you got to get it out somehow. You learn early on, and you just roll with it.
Yeah, man.
Third band with like metal sets, keep it heavy.
Right. Yeah. I think I am going to start recording some heavy music at home. I actually started a little bit like last night, working on some demos of some stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like programming drums and stuff, you know. So it's kind of I don't love that part of it.
It's a cool way to learn though, and like teach yourself, and
Yeah.
you're only gonna get better at that process.
Yeah, Spruce, do you do some audio engineering or?
I like have like I have Logic, and I've like played into it and messed around with it before. Last year has just been like procrastination, which is why I'm going to my buddy Connor Peterson's place to record a 13-song album, hopefully coming out later this year, and Klep will be drumming on that.
Get the air horn out again.
That's right. Big release. I just announced it.
There we go.
But yeah, so but I want to get better at it. Like I really feel like my bread and butter is like building a song, and I would love to be able to like give it to other people and have ideas, but I just like don't really right now know how to work the ins and outs of like a full DAW system.
Yeah.
So I really want to be able to do that over the next few years, and fucking by 5 years from now, I want to look back at this and laugh and be able to do it.
Right. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so that's my goal, but I don't know. Right now, I just had to like get it out to someone else just to be able to move on. I've had some of these songs for fucking forever, so I'm ready to just get them out, done. And like I said earlier, they can always be changed and evolve live.
Okay. Yeah. And then you can move on to writing new stuff instead of like worrying you're going to forget these songs or lose passion for them.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
and like, that's just it as well. Like I definitely have probably like I'm hoping I honestly like first 6 months of next year I can have my second full-length project out, just because I do have ideas, but it's like I don't want to give up on these. I still think this shit's good, but I don't want to overlook it. So I don't know, it's the age-old thing that majority of artists experience. So
yeah.
to answer your question, I'm hoping I can be flawlessly producing here over the next few years and mixing and stuff.
Yeah. Opening a DAW is intimidating. Like, because the first time like last night when I was working on those demos was the first time I had like, because I'll record stuff at home right now, but I would do it in like Audacity, right? So it's like bare bones, like, and that's kind of good for like a lot of the stuff I was doing, which is like finding a track online, recording some guitar on it, and just mixing those two together for like Instagram or something, right? But I was messing around with like this one DAW. It's called Cakewalk, and it's like free, so it's pretty well featured, but you know, going from Audacity to like a real full-fledged DAW that you can actually mix and master within was just like kind of overwhelming. And then it like took me an hour just to get everything to work even. Like
that's the half the battle. You're stuck on like one thing and you're like, what is the shortcut? Like, what is this? I don't know, time signature that I'm not getting this BPM down.
Yeah, well, it's like it wasn't even that. It was just raw technical issues. Like I couldn't even, like, dude, it was just like so frustrating. Like it kept saying there's a problem with your device's audio drivers, and then I updated it, and it said the same thing. And then it was just, like screwing up my shit. So like I would go to like watch a YouTube tutorial about how to use the DAW, and while the DAW was open, nothing else could produce sound on my computer.
Oh my
So
God.
I was like, "What is happening?" And then I had to restart my computer to get the audio situation fixed, and it just like kept compounding. And then like by the end of it, I was like really grumpy, and thankfully I was working on like a demo for this like death metal song I was writing, so I could put it into that.
You leaned into that.
Yeah, it's I can thank it for the inspiration, I guess.
Absolutely. So yeah, I do want to do that, but like I was thinking actually even earlier today that like I like have learned so many covers over the years, and like you learn them, you maybe perform them once or twice, and
Yeah.
then they just kind of fizzle out, and like that's something I really want to do is like have like a definitive like here's my cover of X, record it, mix it, and be able to always have it to like go back on. And again, that will probably help the mixing aspect and learning those DAWs.
Yeah, because then you can kind of test it out on stuff that's like releasing a cover is still cool, right? But it's not as big as like here's a song I wrote. So then you can kind of get your mixing chops down through that too.
Yeah, and it's just so great looking back at like artists that blow up over a few years, and you see that they were grinding like that for many, many times. And even if it's just like right in front of it, not even producing it, it's still, I don't know, it's cool stuff to look back on, honestly, as artists. And I love like the raw imperfections of it all. Like it's what music is. So, yeah, I'm gonna lean into that a little bit more myself. I did have a question for you. I mean, you've been naming for the last hour plus that we've been on here, just all these different projects you've been a part of, playing out in the Toledo area. Like a question that came to mind, and it could just be a general conversation about local artists as well as like, what's something that you feel could like help the just music community and music scene, whether it be specifically in Toledo or just local artists in general? Like, what is something that has stood out to you that you're like, this could do a little tweaking, or this was something good I saw that really helped this one time?
Yeah, I think, and that's like a phenomenal question, by the way, because it's something that like I actually think about quite a lot. I think in Toledo we're doing really well. Like especially with the jam scene, like it's really blossoming. Like it seems like people are getting welcomed in a lot more, and I'm happy to see that because when I first moved to Toledo, like not to be like, oh, woe is me, but I did feel like I was knocking on everybody's door saying, hey, do you want to do something together? Hey, do you want to do something together? And people are like, well, I don't know you. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm here, and like I like the Grateful Dead, so like let's like how much more do I have to say, right? Like, and but luckily, eventually, it worked out for me, and I'm super grateful, and but it's cool to see people are feeling more included, and I want to keep supporting that. So like I just think I'm looking forward to developing more communication with all the bands that I'm kind of sharing the scene with, and that they're gracious enough to share with me about like how we can work together a little bit more, do more shows together. Because with jam bands, we all can play for hours, right? So you kind of get into this like routine of like, okay, I'm going to play my Village Idiot gig, and I'm going to play at the Switchboard for 3-4 hours, and like all this stuff. And I would rather like get to the point where we're all playing the same time a little bit more, instead of well, this band's playing this venue tonight and this band's playing that venue on the same night. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and because like honestly, we have pretty much all the same fans between all the local jam bands, and we want to give them a better experience too, where they don't have to make a choice, right? Like, well, am I gonna,
that's a good point.
Like, am I going to see Bacano or Funk Factory tonight?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you go see both? Or why, am I going to see Keep It Casual or Purple Boys tonight? Why can't you go see both? Like, just get all of us together. And I think it's something that everybody wants to do. And like I've been talking to other local musicians, like Connor from Chloe and the Steel Strings has been really like talking to a lot of us, saying like, I want us all to get together and like put a game plan together so we can all collaborate more. And I think he's the right guy to do that, because he's a really good I'm looking for the right word, but he's a really good like connector type of guy. Connor is. So I think he could really do a great job of being the guy to like hold a town hall meeting for Toledo's jam bands, and because I think we all really love each other's bands and want to be doing more together. I think right now it's just gotten to the point where everybody's become so busy. There's less room for us to sit down and playing shows together, I guess, because we're all doing our own thing. But so that's my hope and wish.
No, that's a great take. I like obviously it happens to all of us, just like not subconsciously. Like you're just like it's just something that happens in the local scene world, and you have to decide which one you go to. But yeah, wow, the communication beforehand and understanding like if people have stuff planned, like know that in advance. Yeah, that's a really cool take.
Yeah, well, and I'd like to take credit for it, but like I said, I think I guess I had some of the idea and have been wanting to do this, but the people to really talk to me about it was like Al from the Funk Factory had the same idea, and Connor did, and so did like Dan in our band. Like so, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel really positive about that idea, and it's like you said, like it's not something that anybody sets up to have that happen, right? Where we're like playing conflicting shows or anything. It's just hard to manage, like it's just like I don't keep track of my own schedule, like so it's hard for me to know like where Jason's going to be playing or any of the guys in our scene, but I think it'll get there, like because I think the fact that people are talking about it and want the same thing is like super good green flag that this can happen.
Yeah, another, like, now that you said that like kind of just like hatched an idea in my brain, because like the logical pushback to that like solution would be, well then that, like, if you're just looking at it from a selfish perspective, like for each band that means, okay, well as a result that means I play less shows.
Yes.
So how do you solve that problem? Would be like maybe spread out the shows a little bit. Like, so like maybe somebody's playing Toledo, but then instead of having like Village Idiot, Golden Road, and like Vibe Lounge or something, maybe like one of those bands is going up to Monroe, so it's like not necessarily the same crowd, or like they're going out to like Findlay or something like that.
Even Ann Arbor or Cleveland, or like, because I mean we just played a gig in Cincinnati not that long ago and everybody loved us. Like we want to travel more, and like
that's the other pro, like for the bands, if like the shows are more spread out, then it's like you're getting in front of different people. You have more of a potential to build your following.
Yeah. Dude, the Midwest jam band circuit.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like, the Midwest dream, in our little armpit of the part of the country, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that would make some ruckus in the rest of the nation if they were like, yo, they have like a fluent, like 50 plus, like just bands that are like sharing the same calendar and collaborating with each other to be able to, whether they open with each other, hey, we're both in St. Louis at this time, like let's meet up. Like, yeah, man, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, and that would be really cool to build it to that level. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that would be hard, but would be really sick. And I mean, luckily, like
they would hate the establishment. They would hate it.
Yeah, it would get a little corporate, right? Like at that point, if I'm keeping tabs on 50 bands, I'm like, where's my cut, man? You know what I mean? Let me get a little something off the top. I mean, we try to connect with people that are a little bit further out, like I've been friends with like Landa Panda, like we're friends with like the Quasi Kings, I've done Pond Jam, which is a festival like way up north in Michigan, not quite in the UP, but you're creeping up on it. I've done that for 3 years now. This will be my 4th year, and after joining Keep It Casual, I brought those guys with me and we played, and they were like, oh my god, this is so cool, and like got to meet a lot of the people that I had been meeting out there, and
dude,
so that's
y'all need to play at Nelson's.
What's up?
Nelson's Ledges.
Oh, I want to.
That's that place?
Yeah, that's one of our dreams. Like, it's funny though, because
sunny days or something.
Oh, dude, I think we would crush that gig.
Yeah, you guys are right up that alley, and like there's a handful of Cleveland bands that we've had on, including Tropadelic's drummer, to the end. We went one year, and dude, yeah, y'all would fit right in. I mean, I've seen Quasi Kings collaborate with them.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, well, give me their
yeah,
Tropadelic's drummer. Give me his phone number, and I'll harass him.
Yeah, Rex, man. Rex is a G.
Oh,
yeah, I think that because it usually happens in May, so I think it just happened, and yeah,
Mhm.
sure, yeah, next year. You never know. This is where the circuit begins.
That's right. Yeah, it's actually funny because I was just talking about Connor from Chloe and the Steel Strings, and he was telling us some pretty funny stories about trying to get a hold of like the folks at Nelson Ledges, and I'll just say like it seems like it's just hard, like he said it took him like years before they even picked up the phone for him. So
Interesting.
well, I mean, think about how many bands you ought to play there, right?
True.
Like, so I can't blame them for it being hard to get a hold of them. Like, but
Dude,
if anyone out there is listening who has any connection to like someone who books any of the events, like, you can call me. You know what I mean? Like, I will break my back for that gig. We all will.
And Noah's phone number will be in the description below.
yeah. Just put it up on the screen, Yeah.
Dude, like I don't know why you just spoke about it. It's hard to get like you just sparked in my head when we went to Sunny Days right before like the encore of Tropodelic. The guy who like owns Nelson's Ledges or runs it or whatever came out when
apologized for the police.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, I'm so sorry about the cops harassing all you nice people.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, very cool. No, yeah. I don't know how we got to there, but nonetheless, that was a cool conversation, and I appreciate like I think what you said about that connecting and everything, and being able to have those conversations before shows, not just with your bandmates but with other bands in the area. That's exactly what I was looking for. So, shouts to y'all for already being on top of it.
Yeah, you led a horse to water, and he did indeed drink.
A stallion, baby.
That's right, man. Oh yeah, I accidentally. Yeah, there we go.
I love it. Well, Klep, you got anything else for Noah before our encore here?
Well, I guess so. Noah, you can't see this, Spruce, but Noah did bring an acoustic guitar with him. So you want to play us anything?
Yeah, I'll play something. I'm not sure what I will play yet, but I'll figure it out.
I would say I would hate for you to have brought it all the way over here just to not use it.
Yeah. Well, I love to take any opportunity I can. So yeah, I can grab it and play a little tune or something.
Right on.
Yeah, rip away.
Yeah.
Do you want like a second mic to sing, or?
Yeah, let's put one on the guitar and see how we can do this. But see, I wanted to play this bluegrass tune that I had written, but then I forgot my capo. That's like the bluegrass guitarist's secret to changing keys, because it's all about the open strings. Let me tune her up a little.
Yeah.
If this starts to lean, actually, I'm just gonna hold it.
Okay, that's rough for you, man. I won't play a 10-minute song, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds good, honestly. That little bit he just played and talked.
Okay, yeah. I'll tune up and then I'll give it a little test before I just go right into one.
This segment is unofficially brought to you by Guitar Tuna. Guitar Tuna. Download the app now.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna try to do this bluegrass tune that I wanted to play and just transpose it without the capo. So, if I sing out of key, it's like Ringo said, right? What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? All right, I'll give it a shot. Weight of worry, see it way down on you. Your hair is getting gray, and I wonder if we're running out of time. Run around in a hurry, that's the pace of these days. We spend so much time searching, I wonder if we're running out of time. So I'll hedge my bets, yeah, with what hope left. You can leave that in too. We can pray to find. Just do a snippet to save me from the warts of trying to sing in a different key. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah. I'll
No, that was some nasty picking, dude. I was trying to follow those fingers over there.
Thanks, man. I'm trying to work on the Tony Rice, the cross picking stuff, Church Street Blues and all that kind of stuff, So
A
lot of hammer-ons. Yeah.
Like I could tell, like part of it was like serving as the bass, and then part of it was like the melody.
Yeah, the little riff to it is what I'm real proud of, because I kind of got some of that Tony Rice thing going on, because he has that whole record, Church Street Blues, where it's a lot of that, that move I actually stole from Jim Croce on what song is that? Box Number 10, Day Mission, Box Number 10, that tune. He does that. So I kind of got like addicted to that sound and just use it every time I'm playing a bluegrass tune in C. Yeah.
Those like hammer-ons and offs are like so smooth.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a fun technique to try to work on. It's doing something that's pretty far out of the box of my usual, But yeah, I could do one more or whatever you guys think.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You guys know Dr. Dog? Can I play a cover?
I know, I haven't dove into them like a ton, but I know that Green album.
Yeah.
Has Mansion in the name.
Okay. I think I know that
has
one.
mentioned them on here.
Okay.
Joe Belinsky was somebody who had brought them up to us way back when.
Nice. You mind if I play it? I won't get you guys like copyright struck if I play a tune, will I?
No.
That's cool. Okay.
Rain is falling. It's after dark. The streets are swimming with the sharks. It's the right place for the wrong company. Open these cigarettes to save us. Here we go again. Here we go again. The neon lights on Baltimore, and every shadow's getting famous. And the second mile, just open all these cigarettes and say us. Here we go again. Here we go again. I the shadow people go. Well, I wanna know where the shadow people go. I stole a bike from the 2nd mile. Saw a band play in the basement. Crossed a path with a friend of mine. And with that look upon her face, man, something's gone from her eyes. Something's gone. And you could be a woman or be a man. Wear the glove on the other hand. You could be twisted or be insane. Pushing the envelope beyond grain. Here we go again. Here we go again. I got something on my mind. I got voices on the other line, saying hi, saying hello. Where did all the shadow people go? Where did all the shadow people go? Well, I wanna know the shadow people go. The shadow people go. Yeah, that one was a little bit better than
Some dog, baby.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
cool.
You killed that shit, brother.
Thanks, man. Screwed up a couple lyrics, but no one will know.
Ain't nobody know shit, man.
That's
Where
right.
the shadow people go. Hell yeah. I gotta
Yeah,
read that
cool
into
too.
that.
They're a good band if anybody doesn't know them. So.
I remember, like, we had Joe Belinsky on. He was a part of a in Columbus scene, up in the Cleveland scene now, but he mentioned to it. But it was one of our first 3 interviews we did, and so it was back in 2022. So,
Nice.
and I listened to him right after that, but I don't think I've listened to him since. So,
Yeah, they're badass, man. I like all their stuff, you know, and that's the shit, you know.
hell yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
this was really fun, guys. This is super cool.
Yeah, I had a bunch of fun too, and yeah.
No, it's great. It's great to be able to, like, just, I mean, you connect with people here, but then, like, the like what we figured out is just the lines forever, you know, like, it's for you to be able to introduce us to other people, or to always be able to, like, check back in and do another one of these episodes as we go. Like, again, the main reason of Vinyl Stallions is to be able to promote y'all. Y'all are putting in the work. Y'all have incredible music that people just ultimately don't know about, and
Yeah.
so that's why we're ultimately here, to connect you with fans, but also other artists out there doing it too.
Yeah, it's
Thank you
Stallions,
for coming
baby. Stallions.
Woo!
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Stallions in the crowd, baby.
That's
Got
right.
it. But you're not out of the thick of it yet. I'll tell you that, Noah. Klep, give our boy the encore. There's always an encore here.
All right, yeah. So they're, like I was saying earlier, we don't really have any script to these episodes, but there is one question that every guest gets asked, and that is, what is your most memorable concert experience?
Yeah, that I've been to.
Well,
Or
you
that
can
I've
take
played.
that question
Yeah.
anyway. You could have been an attendee. You had been a performer. Heck, you could have been an employee if you were, like,
Right,
working at
right.
a venue or something.
Nice.
It could be good, bad, like anything.
Okay.
Just most memorable.
Well, I'll. So I kind of answered my favorite one I've been to with the Billy Strange show. So
I was gonna say,
yeah, so I'll tell my favorite one that I played, but that changes. But off the top of my head right now, I played at the Black Swamp Arts Festival with Nikki D and the Sisters of Thunder
Okay.
And I was already pretty good friends with Nikki at this point, and her keyboard player was my drummer at the time, Gary Black, another great, awesome musician. Anyway, so I get a call from her while I'm at Dead & Co show in like Cincinnati or something, right?
Right on.
And
was that
like,
the one that was at like the Reds baseball stadium?
It was at Riverbend Music Center or something. It's like sponsored by some chili company. They've got the Skyline Chili Vision. Yeah, on all the screens. So I get the call, like, and I think it was literally like at set break for Dead & Co, and I'm partying,
Yeah.
And Nikki's like, she likes, I call her my Aunt Nikki, so she always says, "Hey nephew, how you doing?" She's like, "Hey nephew," and she's like, "You want to come play with us at Black Swamp?" And I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "Can you send me what songs you're doing?" And God bless Nikki, she didn't send me a single song. and we're like, she's like one of the, I guess you could say, headliners, playing like prime time on the main stage. There's like, you guys have probably been to that. Like, there's a lot of people that go, like we played for, I don't know, there could have been 1,000 people just watching us, but anyway, so I don't know anything, but I make sure I'm on stage next to Gary because we both know what's called like the Nashville number system, which you guys might be familiar with, where you spell out chord changes just with numbers relative to the scale, right? So I'm sitting there with Gary, and every time a song starts, I go up to him and he goes, "It's a 1-4-6-5 or whatever it is," and that's all I get. That's all I get for a whole like hour plus set, and then that went amazing. And it was so fun. And then after that, we go and play at one of the street stages for another hour and a whole different set of tunes. And somehow I don't know, I think I'm very adaptable. I'll give myself that as a compliment. But we all just had so much fun. And then after that, I would just play with Nikki a lot. Her and I actually got to get back in touch, but she's still one of my favorite musicians and people. And so that was cool because Nikki trusted me to just go and play all this music, and we were laughing so hard because I started giving her a hard time, But so I would say that one's like a standout for performances, and I'll probably never forget just how funny and interesting that was,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, coming back with like 2 hours of sleep from Dead & Co in Cincy, just get right on stage in the scorching heat and play a bunch of songs I never heard.
Yeah.
That is the grind if I've ever heard it.
Oh, dude, yeah. And that was like at the end of like a 3-show run that I was doing with Dead & Co. So I was burnt out.
Yeah. Damn.
I was probably like 5 pounds later from not eating any real food,
Klep, what's your burrito place?
Oh, Cosmic Charlie's.
Oh, word.
Yeah, have you ever had their food?
All the jam bands.
No, I haven't. I probably have, but I don't remember because I was doing other stuff.
That's fair. Okay, have you ever had a burrito filled with mac and cheese?
I haven't had the mac and cheese one, no, but it does sound kind of familiar. Do you know those one guys who it's like it says something grilled cheese? And
grilled cheese, or was it bacon in every motherfucking
bite? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the good shit. But dude, one time it tore up my stomach. I think it was just because they literally did have so much bacon, bro, and it's like the grease and the heat. And I was like, oh my god!
I will say that guy would never pass a food inspection.
Yeah, no. Yeah, much love to the grilled cheese dude out on Dead Lots. But
it tastes good, but
no complaints about the taste. It's
probably a health code violation.
Yeah. It's just how it makes me feel that I got a problem with it. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. That was a sick story. And again, I was like smiling inside when you were telling about that Billy Strings like wrestling show. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
This is answering the question already. Here,
yeah. But I love to talk. I love to hear myself talk. So I'm like, oh, another excuse to keep doing that. So.
Well, good for you. You got an hour 45 minutes to listen back to this when it drops here.
There we go. Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's cool.
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great to meet you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolute pleasure. And I'll have to get up to Toledo sometime to see y'all play, or if y'all are making moves to Cleveland, like we'll stay in the loop as well. Hit you up on social and stuff, promote y'all, and Yeah, no, yeah. Look forward to meeting y'all in person.
Yeah, that'd be
Y'all,
great.
Like multiple. Klep, good to see you. It's been like a full month or so, 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, nonetheless, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, super fun.
I guess, yeah, before we sign off, anything else you want to plug?
No, I think I'm good.
All
If
right.
people are interested, just come find me. My phone number will be on the screen. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Noah Nelson.
This has been another episode of
Vinyl
Stallions.
Stallions.
I gotta get one in, you know.